left-wing Kingz. Listen, think, act, repeat.
So gerrymandering is when voting district boundaries are drawn in a way that benefits one political party over another. Walonda, how does gerrymandering dilute the voting power of certain groups?
Well, definitely. It dilutes them. I'll tell you specifically, like, they're just terms that are used. And I was like, oh, this is interesting because I had to research this. So the first one is called cracking. And cracking basically is dividing a voting group. Typically is racially. Okay, so you look at Houston and you break them up so it dilutes their vote in specific district areas. And I was like, oh, this is a real thing. So the example is cracking votes across several districts can prevent them from forming a majority in a single district. So they don't have as much power, even though that if they were just one district, they would. So you break them up into smaller parts. The other one is packing and minimizes the influence in surrounding areas. Kind of like, I want to say Texas. So you have all these major cities that are Democratic and everything around us is rural and they vote Republican. And so for some reason we keep turning out red because we know that we are more rural than we are metropolitan, right? I still don't get it. I still, in my math, the math don't math for me, but it don't math for me because I'm just saying, like, everybody rural votes, and I know that's not true, but it is what it is. So that would be the packing. And so that limits the number of districts, right? So you break them up in specific parts, and some are weighed heavier than others. So here we are. And then the last one, and again, example is that as a party knows that a particular minority group overwhelmingly supports its opponent, may pack them into few districts to minimize their influence in other areas. And these are real terms, guys. So we got cracking, we got packing. And of course, it impacts minority groups. For some reason, these two terms impact minorities the most. Like, you don't want our voice. You want to suppress our voice for whatever reason. And the last one, of course, is partisan gerrymandering, which makes elections less competitive, again, because you're safer districts. If you want them to show Republican, then you draw your lines. So just to make sure that happens. And people ask, like, what do we do about that? And I was like, talk to your congressman. The more we talk and we write, which we do not, then we can get these lines changed because they do draw the lines to make it paint a specific picture.
Oh, yeah.
Okay? And if you want to suppress a vote, you draw the lines to do so.
Yep.
Yeah. I mean, it's no example that we've been knowing this for years. It's no excuse or, like, we all know if you go to any major city or whatever the case may be, the black people live on one side, Hispanics live on one side or whatever. Majority, you know what I'm saying? Most of them move around, but you know the side of town that is. And so when they make these voting lines or whatever, like you said, packing, cracking, whatever you want to call it, they draw these lines to make the vote, have an advantage on the vote. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of like you said, in Texas, all the metropolitan cities vote Democratic. All the metropolitan cities is where all the population is. But they all vote blue. You know what I'm saying? But we're considered a red state because Texas, as big as it is, it's morally rural. But we know between here and El Paso, it ain't shit out there. Ain't no people out there. You know what I'm saying? Like 2 cities. You know what I'm saying?
They're cities.
I mean, they are.
But they're small. But in comparison to population size,
population-wise,
no, there's not.
I already looked it up, and I told you I looked it up. You just don't believe what I looked up. What I looked up is the population of Texas, rural versus urban, and it's way more rural people. Now, to her point, they all probably don't vote, but the population in Texas there are way more people, millions more in rural areas than there are. Even if you take, it was Dallas, Fort Worth, Houston, San Antonio, Austin, put them all together, their population is way less than the rest of Texas. So that's the answer, but she don't like that answer.
No, I am okay with that answer. Okay, me and Adrian.
Stop looking up shit.
No, right, it's correct, but what I'm saying is, you're telling me they all vote. That's my thing.
I don't know if they all vote. I don't agree. I don't know about that.
And I'm like,
but the problem is we don't have.
Don't
like
know
I
their
said
ABCs.
Earlier,
They don't even have their
have
T's.
enough people voting in our whole country.
Right. That's the problem. Okay, I agree with that. I'm just saying to say that all rural are voting. I'm know
just
they're
saying
not.
Population outright is more.
I agree.
That's all I'm saying.
Yes.
I thought I had a point there till he looked up some shit.
No, there is more We're more rural than we are.
Our population.
Okay, I knew we had a lot of rural land, but that probably makes sense. But yeah, but still. Stop looking up shit. No, just
kidding. You can't argue. You can't argue numbers.
At the end of the day,
I'm gonna sit in my wrongness.
Hey, at the end of the day, it's all good. I'm pretty sure there are a lot of people who feel the same way, and she still feels like she still don't agree with it. I mean, she knows that, but she don't agree with it. And at the end of the day, she has a reason to.